This is March 27th. It's 12 p.m. 12 a.m. rather. It's just on the edge of Thursday, and this is Two Wolves. We are all related Mitakuyasin. You know those times when you just don't really want to do a story because it's your own past home? Okay, well, I'm from this area, as you know, Olympic Peninsula, Vancouver Island, Whidbey Island, and this is a terrible thing that's happened today on Whidbey Island, but not unprecedented. From the Seattle Times, local news, Today File, posted by Maureen O'Hagan. This is all over the news. I just wanted to touch on it because I have the opportunity to provide you with some local perspective and maybe clarify a couple of things. This gentleman is geologist Terry Swanson from the University of Washington. Geologist Terry Swanson should not be standing on the edge of this landslide because traditionally all the bluffs in this region are always undercut. And if you look behind him, that's all undercut. He's standing on air, basically. But at any rate, he is surveying the damage. A huge landslide in the Ledgewood neighborhood of Whidbey Island between Coopville and Greenbank has damaged and threatened homes on the west side of the island. Residents are being evacuated on Wednesday after a huge chunk of the hillside fell into not Puget Sound, but Admiralty Inlet. I'll tell you about that in a minute, wiping out roadways and power lines. Geologist Terry Swanson surveys, photo by Mike Siegel for the Seattle Times. This is quite the story. Okay, let me give you some perspective. This is Whidbey Island, Naval Air Station up here, little historic village of Coopville at the waist. This is where the ferry. I did a video on that. Very high tides runs over to the Olympic Peninsula. Port Townsend, Sequim, Port Angeles, La Push, Victoria, right about up here. This is not Puget Sound. Puget Sound's way over here, down by Seattle. This is actually called Admiralty Inlet, running between the peninsula and Whidbey Island, and it is an arm of the Strait of Juan de Fuca. Okay, now this island, this entire west side of this island, is nearly all very high bluffs, except for this bit here, which is at sea level, directly in the path of any tsunamis that should ever come in, sweeping in from the ocean. Most of the rest of the island, all along here, is very high bluffs, made primarily from sandstone, clay, and this applies to everything around Vancouver, Bellingham, the Olympic Peninsula. Same geological conditions, very soft soils of the bluffs, clay bluffs, prone to a lot of shaking, and there's many earthquake faults running through here. One runs right down the center of Whidbey Island. A massive landslide damaged one home and threatened many more in Coopville and Whidbey Island this morning. 17 homes were isolated by the 400 to 500-yard slide, 8 of them occupied, said Island County Sheriff Mark Brown. The roads being cut off, the power is being cut off, and the water's being cut to the homes on the beach. There are homes right at sea level. There have been no reported injuries directly related to the slide, although one resident was taken to hospital for unrelated issues. That man's home was knocked off its foundation and pushed several hundred feet toward the water because these bluffs are, many of them, between 5 to 700 feet tall. This was stated by Central Whidbey Island Fire and Rescue Chief Ed Harton. This is Central Whidbey. The man was able to get out of the home, but soon found that the road to safety was cut off. He was taken out by ATV. Okay. I won't read all the articles. There's a lot of them. I'm just giving you a local's perspective. And I want you to know that there's a lot of earthquakes in this area. I have a bad feeling, speaking prophetically, perhaps, I hope not, that the Cascadia is getting ready to go. Because of this is a massive slide, and there's been shaking and sliding all through this region for the last couple of months. There has not been recent rains. It's all earth movement. Let's keep our eyes and prayers on this region. Here's an aerial photo showing the landslide near Coopville on Whidbey Island. The slide severely damaged one home, isolating and threatening more than 30 on the island, and really threatening Coopville in the long run, eh? You can see the runout of the slide. This is the edge of town. Here's the road that was cut off. It's a major road that runs right along here and actually goes out to Keystone where the ferry comes in. Neighbors are said to have heard what sounded like thunder about 4:15 a.m., King TV is reporting. Those living in threatened homes could be seen this morning walking to the edge of the slide. Dick Caldwell, who lives not far from the slide, went over this morning to take a peek. It looked like chaos, he said. It's just a jumble of trees and dirt and all sorts of shrubs and things. Slides are not uncommon in the area. There was a 100-yard slide in January. It's what happens when you live on the edge, Caldwell said. After 26 years in his home, he said there's nowhere else he'd rather be, and this is paradise. You guys, views of the straits, shipping, eagles, whales, salt air, beautiful clean air, unparalleled beauty, rural life, farmland. Como TV reported the relief center for people displaced by the slides has been set up at a nearby community center. Yeah, a lot of beauty was displaced. Okay, here's some more photos. This is quite dramatic. And this is not the housing development. This is the town of Coopville. Look at that. Water down here. And I just wanted to point out a couple of things. As I've said, whoops. Let's try to get. I'm having a little trouble getting to my next page. I wanted to point out that, as I say, this could be indicative of something serious about to happen in the region. That's far too massive a slide. It's not normal. Here's the mist coming in off the salt water. And this is from King 5, Seattle Breaking News. There's a video here. You can come and watch it. And there are many other photos. Oops. Okay. And then this story is actually from the Huffington Post, green, dated Thursday, 28th. They're following this closely. Here again, another video. This time, this story from the Huffington Post by Doug Esser. 11:35 p.m. They're constantly updating this. Huffington Post is right on this. Here's a CBS News video. Again, for obvious reasons, I won't play it, but you can. Come here and play it. Some of the homes are quite belong to CEOs, Microsoft CEOs. Others are tiny log cabins where people have lived close to the land for many years. I wanted to just breaking news update. Wanted to point this out. Chief Harton said, on Wednesday afternoon, the slide still showed signs of movement. It's possible more homes could be lost. We're trying to ensure the safety and awareness of people, Harton said. There's not anything we can do to stop the movement of the ground. Whidbey is about 35 miles long, north to south, and just a mile or two wide in places east to west. There's been no significant rain in recent days, so the immediate cause of the slide's unknown, but the area has been prone to slides in the past, Harton said. Geotechnological experts are being brought in to assess the slide and the danger to residents. Some residents have been told they can go home. I wouldn't advise it at this point. Let's just keep our prayers with Whidbey Island, and Two Wolves is out for now. I'll keep up to date on this one. Thank you.